Good afternoon. It's so nice to be with you again today. Today, we're going to be talking about, similar to our last time, the wounded healer and what it means to be in resonance, right? So, often on the path of being a wounded healer, you go through these different phases that are, man, they are messy. It's like tower after tower after tower. And sometimes you might be like, what in the heck is wrong with my life? Like, how is it this jacked up? Why am I going through all of this? And of course, we go through these tower moments because we need to clear, right? We need to have things broken down, broken apart, because sometimes we are traversing a path that is just not in our highest good. And the universe, God, the creator, our higher selves, whatever you want to call it, decides at some point, all right, we're not doing this anymore. It's time to crumble this scenario so that we can look at all the pieces, figure out what was going on, and then start something different, because this is not the right thing for me. This is not in my highest good. Even if you think it's in your highest good, it's probably not in your highest good if it's falling apart. And again, we have to trust that when things fall apart, they are falling apart because they are meant to. There's that saying, that this is happening for me, not to me. And there's a lot of truth in that. So when things are falling apart and we are like, what in the heck is happening? How is this happening again? How am I in like another failed relationship or another job that didn't work out? Or we sometimes can slip into this concept of like low self-esteem and believing that this must be happening because we only deserve less than this, right? Like, I'm not deserving of this relationship. I'm not deserving of this job. I must be getting punished for some reason. And I really want to clear that today with you. I want to make sure that if you are going through this or you know somebody else who's going through this, share this episode, please, because it is very, very, very important to know that when things are falling apart, it is a resonance issue. It is not a worthiness issue. So if a relationship falls apart, it is not because you are no longer worthy of that person. It's because you are no longer resonant with where that relationship was going. And very often we will be disconnected from scenarios in massively painful ways, because if we're not disconnected in a painful way, if it's not a sudden abrupt ending, we will continue to let ourselves be in a scenario that is not the best for our soul growth. And our souls know best, people. Like, we think we know best because we've got this ego, and the ego's job is to keep us safe. And keeping us safe usually means doing the same thing over and over again, because it's something we can predict and we can control. But I guarantee you that the soul always knows what's best. And if there's one thing I can attest to, it is that on this healing journey, this like hero's journey that I've been on for so many years, I can look back now and confidently say that I am so grateful for every single scenario. And I used to think people were nuts when they would say that. I am literally so grateful for every single thing that has ever fallen apart in my life. And I certainly was not grateful for it at the time. I was in victim mode. I was mortified. I was distraught. I was on my knees praying to God and saying, God, help me with this. I am lost. I am so confused. I am so hurt. Everything has fallen apart. I am losing everything, blah, 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 blah. But now, in retrospect, when I look back on it, it is every single one of them is like the most amazing gift. Every relationship that has fallen apart has been replaced by one that is of much higher resonance, much better relationship, right? And even if that one didn't work, it was because I was meant to learn something from it. And I was going to, again, elevate after that into the next iteration of what a loving relationship looked like, or a good job looked like, or what freedom looked like. And so always trust the path. Even when life is falling apart, every tower moment is there for you. It feels like crap in the moment, but ultimately it is totally, totally, totally because you are ready to shift your resonance. So let's go into just a quick visual here, because this is what I'm seeing in front of my eyes right now. Is just life cycles, right? Like when you think about a frog. So the frog goes from egg, it goes to tadpole, it goes to frog, it goes to egg, it goes to tadpole, it goes to frog, it goes around and around and around and around and around. It is just a cycle of life and death and rebirth, life and death and rebirth. And same thing with like a butterfly, right? So we're going from like egg to the larval stage, caterpillary, into butterfly. And then from butterfly, they lay the egg and it starts all over again. This is our life, people. We are constantly in a state of death and rebirth. Is over and over and over again. In fact, this is a fun story. So I was at a point in my life. All right, let's pause the whole like rebirth thing, but we're going to talk about this for a second because I feel like it's really important right now. I was at a place in my life. I was 40-ish, almost 40 years old. I had built this life with my now ex-husband. He was a plastic surgeon. We had money. We had a mansion. We had luxury vehicles. We took luxury vacations. We had three beautiful daughters. And we had a family in the town that we both grew up in, his family, my family. Pardon me. We had, big Thanksgiving dinners around a custom made table that was made by the Amish with gorgeous centerpieces that I would procure and delightful meals that I would cook from scratch. I mean, it was literally like on paper, it looked as though my life was just picture perfect. And people looked at my life like it was picture perfect and would get really resentful. Yeah, so people would get really resentful, and I actually would work with my friend who I did all my healing work with. And one time we were in a session and I was talking to her about the dynamics of my life. And I mean, she was privy to this for a very long time prior to before even my marriage. She's watched me in like every iteration of who I am essentially. But I was expressing to her that like I knew at that point something had to change in my life because if I kept going on in this fashion, I was going to die inside. And I didn't understand that. Again, it looked like everything was great on the outside, right? Structurally, it looked intact, but I was suffering inside and there were pains that I would barely acknowledge. I would just brush things under the rug all the time to keep my life in that, like, it looks great, it's going to be okay, it's fine kind of mode. But deep down, there was all kinds of stuff going on, like in my marriage, that was incredibly toxic and horrible and empty. And I was with the person who didn't understand love. And I am this deep, deep lover. And I was in chore mode, but I am this creator woman. And so, like, there was just stuff that was not resonant with my soul at the time, essentially. And I didn't know that. I didn't understand that like what I built for myself didn't have roots. It just had superficiality essentially. It didn't have anything that was going to help sustain me. I was drying out, dying out, and I was like, okay, but I am not a victim. I am going to fix this. So I said to my girl, I was like, tell me, my friend, what do I do? And so she said, okay, every day you're going to do this mantra, and she told me how to do it as a mudra with my fingers and how to speak it with the words. And she told me what it meant. And it meant life, death. I'm sorry, life. No, hold on. Birth, life, death, rebirth. Birth, life, death, rebirth. Birth, life, death, rebirth. Sorry, I had to do it on my fingers to remember. Isn't that funny? And so I would sit outside on my beautiful patio with my beautiful wildflowers and my beautiful butterflies and bees buzzing around me with the sun shining on me, facing south. And I would do my mantra within days. I'm telling you, days of starting this mantra. And she had warned me. She said, girl, just so you know, this is going to change your life. And you need to be ready for this because this mantra is incredibly powerful. And I said, okay, that's all right. I want change. I'm coming to you because I need change. I want change. I'm going to die without change, right? Might as well die with change. Well, let me tell you what a wallop that was, right? Talk about resonance. If you put into the universe, hey, I want change, and you speak that out there, literally your sound will vibrate out to the corners of the universe, and the universe will echo back to you. Got it, girl. Here it comes. And literally like a tidal wave, it came at me. I got incredibly intuitive, like overnight, boom, I was able to like sense into things. I was always really sensitive and very empathic. But like my intuition all of a sudden like skyrocketed, and I started sensing what was actually happening around me. I started actually seeing truth of things. And I realized my ex-husband at the time, well, I mean, at the time he was my husband, now he's my ex-husband, was cheating on me with one of my friends. And I started just being intuitively guided to look at things like, all right, well, look at the iPad and look at the messages and look at the calendar, and started putting two and two together and seeing the patterns and noticing things. And I realized that he was having an affair behind my back. and with one of my friends, which was like, I mean, seriously, dude, I sat down and asked for change, and like literally, God immediately delivered a tower moment that would break apart a whole era of my life, a whole me that had been constructed and cultivated was like, like just destroyed in like a heartbeat, right? And so mantra definitely worked. My wishes definitely came true. And my life fell apart essentially overnight. And then I continued to try to keep it together because that was my pattern. That was the resonance. And also, I just have to point out that right now there's like emergency vehicles in the background of my neighborhood while I'm talking about this major tower moment. Do you hear this? Major tower moment that happened in my life, and how like I literally was like, I am dying right now. Like the mantra is birth, life, death, rebirth. And I was like, holy heck, I am in the death part right now. I literally thought that my whole life was going to be annihilated, and I couldn't even fathom that there was something beyond it. But I knew I had to keep going. I had 3 little girls who loved me, and I loved them, and I had to be there for them. So, like, march onward, girl, right? And so I took all the steps, I did all the things, and I was like, okay, well, okay, this is happening, but we've built all this together. And like, I had such a hard time letting the foundation actually crumble, because I had put so much time and energy into this family concept that I had created, the home that I had literally built from scratch, designed from scratch, every doorknob, every freaking hinge. I was like, I can't let this fall apart. I have to save it. So I spent months um, working on myself, thinking, okay, what have I done that created this? What have I done that lent itself to him needing to be with somebody else? And I very much personalized it. And then through guidance of other people who I went to for healing work, I started to see that, like, oh, okay, so this isn't necessarily a me thing, right? Like, this is definitely a him thing. This is his stuff that he is enacting, and he has brought toxicity to our lives and is unwilling to fix it and change. And so I really had this like massive come to Jesus moment where I was like, oh my God, I am married. I am married to the epitome of someone with narcissistic personality disorder. And am I going to be able to live with that? Am I going to be able to make the changes so that this structure that I don't want to crumble can stay intact? And the answer at the end of that was a very solid no, I cannot. And followed by that, there was an echo that said, and nor should you. There is more for you. And so this is where we go back to resonance, right? Like my soul knew that my resonance was no longer in that persona, in that identity, in that role that I was playing. And I needed to let my life crumble so that I could become something more. And that's the more that I had gone to my healer with to ask and say, like, there is a hole inside of me. I know that there is something more that I need to be doing. So God heard my more and said, okay, she's ready for more. Go crumble what she's got going on so she can find more. Again, resonance. What was in my heart resonated out to the ends of the earth, of the universe, and came back to me in ways that, like, I can't even explain to you how much better my life is. I mean, it was hard, don't get me wrong. It's been a struggle, but it's a struggle that, like, literally it's like climbing to the top of a mountain. I'm at the top now. I'm looking out. I'm looking back going, man, that was a heck of a trek, but this is a hell of a view. And so the resonance that I had put out of change, right? That was the mantra that I was given: birth, life, death, rebirth, birth, life, death, rebirth. It's also the caterpillar, it's also the frog, right? We have to go through these stages of our life. We have to let things fall apart. We have to experience deaths in our life so that we can experience the rebirths. This is how we grow and evolve as a soul. It is what we are here to do on this planet. And it is what has happened to me over and over and over and over again. I thought that was like it. I was like, oh, good. Now I'm going through my midlife crisis or whatever. And it's all going to be better from here on out. Totally wrong. I've died so many ego deaths in the past 8 years. It's almost funny now. Like when I know it's coming, I know what to expect. And I'm like, oh, here we go again. But I know now, like after all of these times of it happening, I know that the rebirth on the other side is so worth going through the death pain. It is so worth letting all of those things die, because I know that what's waiting for me, because I've done this so many times, I have so much trust and faith that what is waiting for me is going to be better. And what that has done for me has created within me a resonance where I am resonant with my higher self now. I am resonant with my higher self. I am resonant with my soul as my soul knows itself to truly be, which is pure love, pure experience. It is God pushed out into a universe to experience. And that's who I am at my core. Yes, in my body, I am a human being who has values and ethics and a personality and all the different flavors of who I am, my preferences, my creative energies, all that jazz as you become an embodied person. But the resonance that I have now is, it's like I'm picturing just this like central cord that goes from like above my head down into the ground beneath my feet. I am this like centered being of like my radiance, my myself, essentially. I'm seeing a lighthouse now. So it's so beautiful. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Okay, back to resonance. So the resonance of who we are will make our lives change, right? So when we are ready to step up or elevate to the next level, our lives will change. And it is terrifying at the time. It might come across to you as something that you should feel ashamed of or embarrassed of, or that you've done something wrong. It absolutely has nothing to do with something that you've done wrong. It simply means that you are ready for a new resonance. You are ready to step up, to elevate, to be in a higher vibrational experience of who you are, to be closer to your soul's truth, closer to God, closer to your authentic soul signature. And so let the pieces fall as they will. I know that's really hard to say. And I know that like the ego is just like, it just wants to grasp, it wants to hold on, and it wants to replay those stories, and it wants to dig through everything and figure it out, and maybe even hold on to it and see if it can be rebuilt, repaired, fixed, salvaged in any way. But just to let it go, like let it fall and crumble, and trust. You've got to learn to trust that what's coming afterwards is better, because you are a resonant match to better. There's that saying, when one door closes, another one will open. And we have to realize that it's not just that when one door closes, another one will open. It is that when one door closes, a better one will open. So we can ask God, God, if not this, then better. Bring me something better. And then trust that it's coming. Because what we resonate matches us, right? What we resonate out will come back to us. It will magnetize back like a boomerang. So if we believe that something is dying and crumbling, if we believe that the caterpillar is dissolving so that it turns into a butterfly, then yes, you are going to become a butterfly. Getting stuck in the death phase where we are terrified or in shame of our dissolution, it's not a truth. It's just a not truth right now. That's all I'm hearing is that's not true. It's fabricated. It's not true. Letting things fall apart means that you are ready to resonate at a higher vibrational level of your soul signature. Allow it to happen. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, well, actually, I want to go back to the doors closing. I'm seeing this too. When a door closes behind us, we have a tendency to keep opening it and peeking in, and opening it and peeking in, and opening and peeking in. Like we can't seem to let that door just fully close. But once we do, once we decide what was behind that door does not have anything else to offer me, right? And this is where I was when I decided to like leave my marriage, right? It's where I've been when I've decided to leave a job that just was destroying me, right? But when you get to that breaking point where you are like, there's nothing left here for me. I have milked out every last drop of the lessons I needed to milk out. I have given it everything I could possibly give it to try to make it work. And I am able to close this door with confidence, saying, I am done. This story is complete. You not only close the door, you lock the door and you toss the key out. You don't need that key. You don't ever need access back to that door ever again. Because as you turn away from that door and you look down at the expanse in front of you, there are so many more doors for you to choose. And sometimes there's not one right away. Sometimes it's just a freaking dark hallway. And you're like, oh crap, I'm just going to put one foot in front of the other. But eventually I'm going to find something, and it's going to be the right path for me to take. It might be the only doorway for me to take. I might have multiple options. I don't know, but I can't stay here anymore. I am locking this door and I am getting rid of the key. I'm giving the key to God because I don't need that anymore. I have milked it for everything it needed to teach me. And I am now changing my vibration. I am elevating to the next level. And the next thing that's coming to me is going to be more valuable, more precious, more appropriate to my new resonance. And so that part felt like it was really important for me to talk about. Maybe you needed to hear that today, to not be afraid to close those doors and lock them. And always trust that if something is meant to reappear on your path, it sure as heck is going to reappear on your path, because there's just nothing you can do about things that are fated for you. And so you just lock that door and you feel good about locking that door. So resonance. The last thing I wanted to mention about resonance today is the people in our lives that we have to let go of, because I think this is one of the hardest things that I face as a Pisces and someone who lives deeply in my heart and in the concept of loyalty. In fact, my loyalty has been very much morphed over the years. You know, when you grew up in an abusive family, your concept of loyalty to people is jacked up, right? Like you're loyal to people who beat you, right? Or who demean you and harm you or neglect you or verbally abuse you or make you the scapegoat and, you know, put all the blame of everything bad in the world onto your shoulders at age like 7. There's a lot of crap like that. So you learn how to be loyal to people who are not good for you, right? And this is a whole other conversation for another day about boundaries. But we have to learn how to be resonant with what is best for us, not resonant with what is familiar to us. And think about the word familiar. The word family is inside of familiar. What's familiar to us is just what's constantly near us in our resonance, right? So in our vibrational environment essentially is what familial is or familiar is. And so we have this tendency to be loyal to what is familiar. But I want us right now to commit to being loyal to what is good for us. And this is where you're going to be able to let people go. Letting people go is freaking hard, dude. Like, especially if they're people who we have a long history with, people we have fond memories with, people we're trauma bonded to sometimes. Like, the bonds between people are very, very strong. And there's so many studies out there too about how we bond with people and what our attachment styles are with people. That's a whole other talk for another day. But getting past loyalty and allowing resonance to be the determining factor in our lives is like super important, right? So when you are living from resonance, you are in a place of trust. You are so embodied within who you are, what your values are, in your own integrity, in your own vibrational signature. Like, this is me. I'm good with me. I believe in myself. I know that I am here for living a life of integrity and truth, boundaries. I am a kind-hearted person. I want the best for all people. When you're able to really center yourself in that and you create this powerful resonance of who you are, when people fall out of your life, it's not going to feel crappy anymore. When it feels crappy is when we're still dependent on them for some interaction, some type of energetic charge. And so when we are able to come into our very own resonance and stay solidly in our own signature of like, this is me, this is my values, and the people who are supposed to be with me are those who will be resonant to my energy signature. That is how we allow people to fall away and come into our lives, right? This is how we accept new people into our lives, because we say, oh, wow, something about this person is resonant with my energy. And like, we vibe, we resonate together. We're grooving together. Like, this matches me and it feels good. And then there will be those people that we keep in our lives because we feel like we are supposed to keep them in our lives, but they are not a resonant match to us. And it will feel horrible to be around those people. It will feel emptying. It will feel, there's a bee on me right now. That's funny. Like, the bee's vibration and my vibration. It's hilarious. Hi, friend. Yeah. So resonance matters most, right? So if you can become solidly intact as you, as one whole being who feels like you are clear on who you are, where your boundaries are, where like you end and the rest of the world begins, then you will begin to attract in people who are just resonant to your energy. And the people who are not resonant to your energy are going to fall away, and there will be grief I guarantee you will be sad. You will miss them. You might feel angry at them or resentful at them. But with time, as you stay in your resonance, you will realize that like that person faded out of your life, sometimes abruptly left your life for a reason, because there was a higher intelligence that matches us up that knew that that person was not meant to be in your life anymore. And I've had to go through this with people I was in love with, right? Like men who I just was like, I love this person so freaking much. Like they are my soulmate. I love the heck out of this human being. And then having to let go of that dynamic again, the loyalty part came in. The little girl who was just constantly accepting badness from other people because they were my parent and what were my choices, right? Like all this stuff had to fade away so that I could realize, okay, I'm just not resonant with that person. Like we are not resonating. We don't have the same outlook, values, energy. You know, I'm based in abundance and beauty, and that person was still stuck in lack, you know? And so, like, we literally just did not resonate with each other anymore. And I have to be willing to move forward and send all my best love and blessings to that person and prayers that they will evolve to. And that if it's ever meant to come back together, it will. Same thing with jobs. I've had to leave jobs before where I'm like, dude, this job is based in chaos. It is based in competition. It is based in people being deceptive and gossiping and like stuff that's just not who I am. And I'm not willing to experience that anymore. And the job literally like resonated out of my life and a better thing came along and one that I was much more resonant with. And so, and when that happens, when you finally like give God your trust and faith that, like, yes, closing this door, throwing away the key is going to bring me something better, and then it does come, oh, heck, that feels good. It feels so affirming. And you're like, there's a God. I feel so good. I am in resonance. I am in flow. I am so freaking happy. Life is good. There is someone watching over me. And it just feels so good to be in resonance with what is best for us. And so I think that that is kind of my bottom line for today. I was just talking about, you know, resonance, like what it feels like to lose people. And you know, that's the cost of healing. As you grow and evolve, you are going to outgrow other people who are not doing their healing work. And it is hard because you know that you're doing something really good for yourself, for existence in general, right? Like you're doing the work of the wounded healer of God, of bringing heaven to earth, creating that bridge, being the bridge, clearing your karmas, aligning your chakras, being a high vibrational being. And then because of that beautiful work, you're going to lose people you love. It's hard. There's like a dissonance there sometimes. So, you know, I'm just here to remind you that as you resonate higher and higher, as you grow and evolve and elevate, you are going to find people who are just going to be a better match to you, and you're going to live a happier life, and then a happier life, and then a happier life. And it's just going to keep happening. And it's going to be hard, but as it happens more and more, it will get easier, and it will be more clear that those people are leaving your life because a better thing is coming in. Those jobs are leaving, those towers are happening because the old has to crumble. You know, the marriage has to fall apart, the job has to go away, the whatever has to pass because something new is awaiting us. And yes, there's grief in that. There's time to look back, resolve things, bury them, let them be dead, lock the key, walk forward. You weren't doing anything wrong. You were just evolving. You were doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You were becoming the butterfly. You were becoming the frog. It happens. It's the right path. Tell yourself, good job. This is actually a sign of growth, healing, and becoming all that I am meant to be. So with that, I'm going to leave you to a beautiful, beautiful day. I hope that you resonate in some beautiful new experiences today. Abundance, prosperity, good luck, good health, good fortune. Have a blessed day. God bless.